Hello everyone. Nice to have you everyone here. Yes, my name is Elvin Mata. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Brickens. Thank you for joining us on this LinkedIn live session to talk about one of the most interesting themes lately, especially in the tech world, tokenization. So before we go deep dive as to what it is, how is it efficient to raise capital via this vertical and whatnot, why don't we introduce the guest stars that we have here? So please, why don't you give us a brief introduction and tell all our community and everybody who's listening to us who you are and what you do respectively as an expert in your field.
Sure, let me start. My name is Nastya Adamova. I'm co-founder and CEO of BABS. We are a marketing strategy and communication firm. We are focusing on blockchain, artificial intelligence, and emerging tech. And we are helping brands to enter market. We are helping to raise money. We are helping to launch new products, tokens, NFT collections. Shortly helping to shape your brand, target your audience, and reach with our messaging. Yeah, that's about us.
Thank you very much, Nastya. Lovely to see you here. Thank you. Who wants to go next?
Okay, hello everybody. Thank you for the invitation. I'm Giancarlo Vergine from Italy. I'm the founding partner of Overventures, that is a small advisory boutique focused on fundraising services and, of course, in partnering with startups and VC to empower the ecosystem and keep the money flow between people, between startups and VCs. So I'm here just to talk to you about the potential of the crowdfunding, community funding, and the tokenization of the fundraising.
Thank you, Giancarlo. Thanks for that. I love the word empowerment, right? We're hearing it more and more often. So it's all about empowering ourselves in this new digital and tech world. Thank you for coming. And then, Peter, how are you?
I'm very well. I'm really happy to be here. Maybe on the first notice, I would be the most boring one because I'm a lawyer. But I must say that being a lawyer in crypto world in recent years is really challenging, and it's very dynamic work. And I would say that I'm really deeply in the blockchain for the last 7 years. I have my own advisory company, but I will tell you a little bit more what I do and how why I'm so deeply in the tokenization. I will explain to you that in a little bit later.
Amazing. So thank you very much for having us, for joining us this great panel. I mean, yeah, we have a little bit of a different experts. I know, Peter, you're not boring. You're in blockchain. You're one of the fun guys now. So I guess we could just gonna discuss tokenization, but instead of me describing what is the attributes of tokenization and then we go into the presentations, I would like to request from you guys to explain as if you're I heard it yesterday so much as if you're telling your grandmother what is tokenization. What is tokenization for each of you?
Who'll start? The lady, I guess.
No, you started to talk. You can start.
Okay. No, maybe I can start. Okay, because I was the last one in the first round. Yeah, I would say that my first association when I hear the tokenization, I would say that it's a transferring illiquid asset into a liquid one. So I would say that this is also the most important added value of the tokenization I see. So it's a creating a new asset class which I think will become mainstream very soon. But I guess we'll be talking later. But in one word, I would say illiquid asset becoming very liquid. That's tokenization from my perspective.
I like it. So I'm gonna take from you two like in two terms: illiquid, so to liquid, obviously a new asset class. So it's kind of like creating a new digital asset class. So that's very interesting. And now I'm gonna throw the question just to Giancarlo because he's in the crowdfunding. So
Yeah.
in that world of crowdfunding and tokenization, what is the merge? What is the relevance for capital adoption or creating a crowdfunding mechanism via what Peter said, the liquidity of certain assets or creating a new asset? How do you see that merge?
Yeah, I see this match. I think that equity crowdfunding and the crowdfunding platform are trying to democratize, sorry for the, for the pronunciation, the access to the venture capital and the investment in risky assets, but assets that before were destinated just to high net worth individuals or professional investors. Now, with the equity crowdfunding, the investment in this kind of assets that can be startups, tech companies, real estate, crypto, and something like that, are open to very small investors that can start invest with very small tickets. And with tokenization, that now is not very used in this world because of the regulations. But I think is the next step in Europe for the this kind of journey of the democratization of the asset class. And so I think that at the technological level would be a very important next step, a step forward that would be very that can make the investment in this kind of assets more liquid and so more less risky than now.
Amazing. So from you, I'm grabbing that again. We're going into how to make asset classes such as equity more liquid, especially in private markets where you don't have that openness of transferability, and how to make it more accessibility. Because yeah, we're hearing about democratization, kind of like how can we individuals, especially the retail, can open new doors or get access to new doors and be able to invest more simple into asset that we cannot have. So I guess we're having all of these kind of like terms around tokenization. So Nastia, please now
Yeah,
let me get those keywords from you.
the hardest job. You took all the good stuff, so I need to be creative. So I agree with colleagues and all of said above, and I guess the two important parts need to be added from my side. Here, like tokenization, bring us a new thing, which is I called financial inclusion. And opportunity for those people who never had access to traditional financial markets to invest without having like no ID, no kind of bank statement approvals or any kind of like regulators who are behind your back, like watching you, what are you doing, where you invest your money. So this is like open the borders for those people who were like underprivileged, those who have no access in the traditional markets, and making them opportunity to make money. So that's definitely something that has decentralized financial system actually like provide and tokenization as well. And the other thing that I guess it's very important to mention those the tokenization is like as a crowdfunding mechanism is very important for those small medium-sized businesses or individuals who never have opportunity to raise money in a venture capital, or maybe don't have like friends and family or angel investors in their like audience where they can borrow, and the only way to get like some money for building their business is actually to get a loan in a bank, which is not very not very cheap, and sometimes it's hard to get because you have no track record. So tokenization provides this opportunity, and as far as like it's still like a risky market, there is chance for everyone to raise money. It's like no one has a history here, so everyone has equal opportunities. So I see these two very important features of tokenization, but of course in addition to those you already said.
for not having any more keywords. I think you just gave us a lot of good knowledge there. So financial inclusion, of course, but also you bring something possibilities. So you have a possibility of getting funded through different mechanisms, and you just add a new one, a new layer, which is the marketization, the retail investor, the crowdfunding. So it's kind of like you suddenly have everything in a convergence. So I think the speakers here brought us with a lot of introduction as to what is a tokenization and why it has been currently used also by institutionals, because it's not just the tech companies using it. Stable coins are tokenized. That's a tokenized instrument. We have financial instruments such as equity or bonds running on chain. And well, the perspective is that we're going to be hitting a market of above 16 trillion by 2030. So 7 years, we're going to see a more digital world. But for now, I would like to start with Peter talking us more on the regulatory and compliance side to see how he's tackling this new and addictive sector. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll be really short in my presentation, and I will try to be really pragmatic, so that I will share with you my deepest fears and my biggest sources of happiness, which is coming into my world now. So to start with, as I mentioned before, I would just like to share with you well, the perspectives from which I know the tokenization. So my core business is lawyer. I'm a legal advisor in my own company, and we've been in business for quite a long time. I'm also a co-owner, co-founder, and chief legal officer in Blocksquare. It's a tech startup doing real estate tokenization. I was also a co-founder of a blockchain think tank, Slovenia. This was some kind of NGO which served as a bridge between blockchain industry and the regulators here in Slovenia. And I'm also a co-founder and managing partner of a venture fund. And I must say that I have met with tokenization from all these different perspectives, and that's why, believe me, I for surely know how complicated it is from the not only business perspective, because it's easy, I would say, these days to tokenize any asset, but it's much harder to find a proper investor base. And on the other side, of course, we are tackling with a lot of regulatory and compliance challenges. So, for example, when some startups doing some kind of tokenization platforms or something like that approach me as in my capacity of being a partner in the venture capital, I for sure know all the legal challenges, and I would say at this very day I wouldn't dare to invest in this kind of business because I know it's very, very difficult to be fully legally compliant and to ensure proper legal protection for all the stakeholders in the business. So what are in practice what were my biggest fears so far in the tokenization business? There are two. One is reverse solicitation. I will explain a little bit about this, and the second one is this finding a proper or bulletproof solution for protection of the token holders. So the first one, reverse solicitation. Let me give you one example. Here in Slovenia, we approached our regulator, securities regulator, a few years ago, I think 5 or 6 years ago, and we got opinion from their official opinion that regardless of the rights deriving from the tokens under Slovenian law cannot qualify as securities. And I started thinking, oh my God, Slovenia is the paradise for the asset tokenization, because whatever you put in the token, it cannot qualify as a security. But of course, we have this so-called reverse solicitation, which means that if I would be issuing token in Slovenia and I would be actively addressing, for example, German investors or Italian investor or French investor, in worst case scenario, French investor would be able to sue me in case something would go wrong. If he would be able to sue me in front of French court or German court or UK court, suing me that I have sold him the security. So regardless, if you have one very, very bulletproof legal solution in one country, unless there will be a unified regulatory framework, for example, within the European Union and elsewhere, you will not be 100%. You will be safe from all the potential class actions, regulatory actions, and so on. So that was my first fear. That is my first fear still. The second one is finding the ultimate protection for the token holder. So we know there is a technology for tokenization. It's easy this day to tokenize the assets, but how to ensure proper legal protection for the token holders. For example, we tokenize a real estate asset, a property, and how we will be able to ensure that the owner of this tokenized property will not somehow manage this tokenized asset in the future, and with these actions, he might cause, of course, damages to the token holder. So what are the origins of those two fears? So the last one, the one that I was describing just now about this safety for the investors, is that we were trying for years to find a bulletproof solution on chain. So meaning with some structure of smart contracts and I don't know, digital identity and so on. But at the end of the day, we found out that it's not possible to ensure this full legal protection only by using on-chain measures. So you need to combine on-chain with old school off-chain measures. That's the first thing. And the second thing, the second origin of my fear is that there is no proper legislation. There is no unified legislation. We know that once you have these new technologies, new business models, you cannot put everything, or you cannot stretch everything into the old school legislation. So if you want to feel safe, if you want to ensure proper legal infrastructure of tokenization and other crypto businesses, you need specialized regulation. But nothing. There is some bright times ahead. So not everything is so dark. Now we have this MiCA legislation, markets in crypto assets regulation. This will be a systemic regulation on EU level, which will step in force in part in June next year, and in the other part at the end of the next year. Once this will be in force, we all the stakeholders in crypto business will exactly know what we need to do to be in full legal compliance within the whole European Union. That will mean that if you'll be legal compliant in one European Union country, you will be legally compliant in all European Union countries. And this is a huge thing also for the tokenization business. I would say the second part, or the second very important element why I think the future for the tokenization and the whole crypto business in general is bright, is that some big players are either started talking about the tokenization, or are already entering tokenization business. For example, we at Blocksware, we are already talking with one of the German banks, which would like to establish a platform for their assets, which they are managing some properties, and they would like to offer these tokenized assets to their customers. And the third one is the latest developments in the tokenization business. For example, here in Slovenia, we have achieved one really huge milestone. For the first time in the history of Slovenian land registry, we managed to put crypto tokens of the tokenized assets in it. So now we have in Slovenia a tokenized real estate asset, which is on which the mortgage was established, and this mortgage is protected with tokens, and everything is well packed into the land register. So I would say this is a huge milestone, because now we finally managed to combine these on-chain measures with off-chain measures, and by that we achieved this full safety for the token holders. And I think this kind of milestones, this kind of rich milestones, will attract new investors into the tokenization business. So to start to end with, I hope I wasn't too long. I wasn't counting how many minutes I was speaking to you. So I believe I sincerely believe that tokenization is here already, but now we have this fraction of the potential already developed, and the potential for the tokenization that lies ahead is much bigger. So I believe that in 2, 3, 4 years time horizon, we'll be talking about this fractured ownership and tokenization as a new asset class, which will be mainstream, same as we are talking now about bonds, about securities, about derivatives, and so on. I hope I was clear. I hope I wasn't too long, and I hope you got my messages.
Thank you very much for that, Peter. No, not long enough. Yeah, but you're building a lot of good things. I love the registry thing that I read about it. So congrats on that. I mean, that might seem for some like a little step, but they don't know how huge, in fact, it is that public registries may start using and adopting blockchain technology, and that will facilitate the asset class tokenized to be able to transact and people to feel that there are more trust in the trust funnel, right? So, Peter, absolutely, thank you very much. Now I'm going to give it in space to Giancarlo because I would like to also hear from him as a crowdfunding expert and having to work in that specific vertical for so many years. What is he doing for the ecosystem? Obviously, tokenization is the new vertical, but he comes from something that was already doable in the past. Startups, companies, projects, crowdfund. So thank you very much for that, Giancarlo. We'd love to hear that perspective.
Thank you, Edwin. So now again, I'm Giancarlo Vergine. I'm the founder and managing partner of Over Ventures. I'm in the equity crowdfunding environment since 2016. Since that date, I helped more than 150 startups and growing companies in Italy, mostly in Italy, but also in Europe, to raise money with the equity crowdfunding and the community funding. Firstly, as head of onboarding at CrowdFundMe, that is one of the main, the most important platforms in Italy. Lately, with Over Ventures, that is, as I said at the very beginning, a small advisory firm that has a vertical on the crowdfunding, a crowdfunding studio, where we collaborate with platforms and startups in order to facilitate the crowdfunding campaign raising. After that, so what I did, more than 170 community fundings since 2016, without the help of the tokenization that nowadays is, of course, a new vertical, a new potential technology mean that can revolutionate the equity crowdfunding market, because it will open the market to a world of possibilities for investors and entrepreneurs. What does it mean? That it means that with tokenization, the equity crowdfunding would be reshaped because, as I mentioned before, the shares of the companies can be more liquid, because now, with equity crowdfunding, one of the main constraints of this kind of asset class is the illiquidity for the investors, because you are investing in startups through an equity crowdfunding platform, but that kind of shares cannot be sold in a very quick way. So with the tokenization, you can leverage on the token, so on the blockchain, in order to sell and buy this kind of assets, so this kind of shares, in a faster way. So this is a very interesting point. After that, the tokenization will open to a global asset in order to, if we see the market from a geographical standing point. What does it mean? Now, in November, in Europe, there will be a new era for the crowdfunding, equity crowdfunding platform, because it will be live for all the countries in Europe, the new European regulation for the crowdfunding. But with the tokenization, the access to this kind of projects will be at global level, because the tokenization will allow investors from around the world, not only from the geographical location, regional, to participate in equity crowdfunding campaigns or in the secondary market. This global reach will expand the pool of potential bakers and also a diversity and a new, I don't know, will open the startups to very big potential opportunities, because now if you raise money in Italy, you will raise money mostly from Italian investors. If you raise money in Spain, mostly from Spanish investors. With the European regulation, these kind of barriers in Europe will be out, but with the tokenization, we think that these barriers will be open at a global level. After that, another very important point is the increase of transparency, because leveraging on blockchain technology and the tokenization of the shares, all the processes that now are embedded in the equity crowdfunding platforms, that of course are regulated by local and international regulators, would be very transparent, because the blockchain itself is the most transparent mean for this kind of notary or this kind of process in terms of property or sale of this of assets. And it is very interesting because leveraging on the blockchain, you can have a real-time information, including company updates, financial, and so there will be an higher level of transparency. After that, with tokenization, of course, we can leverage also on fractional ownership. So, now when you participate to an equity crowdfunding campaign, of course, you can buy shares or stocks. It depends of the kind of the type of company. But with the tokenization, you can fragment it. You can fraction the share itself. So it can be very interesting because you can diversify leveraging of this property of the tokens, and a very higher level. So in the next years, we could assist also to the automation of some compliance processes. And we know tokenization streamlines compliance processes, blockchain streamlines compliance processes, and so we can imagine that in the future, this market we can have the possibility to run smart contracts or run some administration automations that can simplify investor verification process, so KYC, for example, and ensures regulatory compliance, creating a very efficient, a more efficient and secure ecosystem. That in this market we suffer a lack of transparency some way. That's why we need national regulators or European regulators. After that, the last point I would like to mention, and I will finish my speech, is the potential that can give the tokenization to the investor, because the tokens we know that can give to investor incentives, more incentives from I don't know, a revenue, new revenue models that the startups can put in place to incentive his own investors, or I don't know, some kind of incentives that now in the equity crowdfunding campaigns are made with manual activities or offline activities. But of course, with tokenization, there can be made by automation. So it can be a very winning point. After that, I think that there is a lot to do in this field in the next years at a regulatory level, but also at from a business standing point. But we are here, we are studying, we are trying to put in place some case studies. So if you have any question and would like to get in touch with me, don't hesitate to write me or to write the partner Brickens, because we would like to make some case studies together.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that, Giancarlo. A lot of knowledge for not being so specialized in tokenization, but the crowdfunding. I mean, it comes from there. So your knowledge is highly valuable. And I do like some of the aspects that you brought, because automatization, that's something that will become very, very powerful, especially KYC compliance, how secondary trading happens. And obviously that you brought kind of like the utility part. I hold a stock right now, it's offline and it's not usable except that I becomes my shareholder. If I have the digital and it's on chain, maybe I have access to certain products, certain services, because it's kind of like my ID badge that I am a shareholder. I get a discount and all of that. And we're seeing that a lot in the space, how the share itself becomes more active and dynamic and provides opportunities. So I really like everything that you were saying. Yes, we're still in the very kind of like early stages, but regulation wise, we are evolving. And obviously, the crowdfunding deregulation that came abroad, they're actually facilitating certain things and whatnot. So yeah, vertical looks bright. Thank you very much for that, Giancarlo. Lovely.
Thank you, Edwin.
Thank you. And finally, but not last, hello, how are you, Nastia? Oh, you're mute. Now we can hear you. How's everything?
Great. Happy that my colleagues already did the whole speeches about the opportunities of tokenization, so left me the cherry on the top.
Well, but you said it last time, and then you ended up happening to say like all these like proper terms, financial exclusion and whatnot. So I think you're gonna be like the golden closure to the presentations. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So today we kind of already deep dive in tokenization and what kind of benefits it can give for investors, for startups or small and medium businesses, retailers for raising money. But we never touched the idea, and actually we never talked about the opportunities which tokenization offered to as a new marketing channel, as a new marketing opportunity, and then new sales activations and campaigns. So my speech will be a little bit about it, and also about the brand awareness and why do you need this in the Web3 space, what kind of things you need to take care of before you're launching anything. And yeah, I guess that's the short agenda. So I will start with a short intro of myself and the company, which I already did, but wanted to deep dive. So we are working on this blockchain space for more than 4 years, and as a new brand for 2 years. And our team is very, very solid. We are right now 15 people, core team, and we are trying to help to outline the go-to-market strategy for any of the projects in Web3 space, whatever it's like, from NFT artists and traditional artists who wants to launch NFT collection to centralized exchanges or different types of blockchain-based solutions, like around IP rights, around helping like small medium businesses to raise money. So our expertise is pretty wide. We are very solid entrepreneurs ourselves, and also back in the past were on an enterprise side. We were doing the marketing consultancy for 15 years in tech. So we have the basis of marketing, and we also know the Web3 part, the world that is like pretty new, pretty like pump and dump, so people are confused with many things, and they don't know how to run a strategy, what is like Web3 marketing, and how it's just like how it's different from like traditional marketing. So this is where we are helping with, and this is like our expertise. Let me share my presentation. Oh, now it's not allowed to share. Okay, can you see my presentation? I hope you can see. Thank you for the feedback. Yeah, so this is like a kind of like services which we provide as a company. As I mentioned, we start with like creative concept ideation. We have design studio who can help with the artwork. We have a small product team who is doing software development. We do organic PR, we do marketing strategy and implementation. We help with social media and digital advertisement. We do lots of ERL events, and so basically from A to Z. And today I want to share a little bit about brand awareness and how this can actually influence your startup, and why we talk about this in tokenization. So when you're going into like such a new and pretty difficult in that sense market, you need to understand that the rules are different as well. Web3 marketing is different, and that's why people need to strategize and make sure that they also understand to whom they are selling those tokens, to whom they're actually refer, who is the target audience. So that's one of the crucial part for any startup, and any like small and medium size like companies who are entering this market. And you need to understand that something that you have built back in the days, and you have like track record already on a like Web2 market, it's not probably will not really help you in Web3. So basically you need to build the brand from the scratch, or you need to leverage on the existing brand and put a new marketing campaigns, new marketing channels. And basically what I was trying to say, that any campaign, any brand awareness campaign is always like around three pillars, which is like create a social buzz about something new coming to the market, tokenization, for example, access to new like opportunities for investors. It's about building trust, and how you can convince that you are not a scammer, that you are actually a solid business, and that's why you need to invest. And of course, it's about transparency and sense of belonging. And this is the third part, is like only the only part that is like crucial for Web3, and what is actually changing and distinguish Web3 marketing from Web2. So why we talk about sense of belonging and transparency is that by providing opportunities for investors to make some of the decisions for your company, like it was the same as with having a shares. It's not, but shareholders and like voting rights and everything is very, very difficult and very regulated in traditional market. In Web3, it's actually much more easier, and there is like smart contract and blockchain technology that allows to have a voting right and allows to make decisions like as a community rather than just as individual or board members, So this sense of belonging is actually something that people choose over being a part of the project, not just put money into the basket and expect to have earnings, but also to have like involvement in making decisions for the company, maybe creating some opportunities for company, maybe sharing their ideas and thoughts with the like company leaders and to be heard. So this is very important and crucial part of Web3, and you need to understand, like entering Web3 market, you need to think about those things, and this is something that communities are actually helping to solve. When I talk about brand story and any brand messaging, I always say that it's important to explain to communities and to those investors who you are, what do you do, why do you exist, what are your goals, and how are you going to achieve them. These are the most crucial parts, and they need to be communicated to your target audience very well. So they need to be defined first by the company leaders and then communicated through the channels, social media, blogs, PR, whatever you are choosing is actually your communication channel. And this strategy, this brand messaging and brand story is very important. And it should be a one playbook you are using internally for the company to communicate these ideas. If you have different messaging in different channels, it will influence your audience will be lost and they will not understand what do you do. And it will create trust breach, I guess. So that's very important, crucial part. And then to be consistent. So when you choose the messaging, when you define your goals, when you create those social like communication, be consistent and continue it in the same way, because many brands are like starting as a good idea, but then they kind of forgot where there was where the basics, and they are like falling into like different, trying to pivot, making changes, and then you can't recognize a brand. So this is very, very important. We did many brands messagings in the past. This is like our BAPS manifesto. So for those who will be interested, I can share the presentation later on, and you can read what we mean when we say about brand messaging. I will stop a little bit here to explain also a very crucial part for anyone who is trying to raise money, anyone who wants to get exposure and achieve like target audience with those messaging is like there are many tools, but PR one of the things that come to my mind, like for anyone. Do we need to do it? Can we do it internally? Do we need to pay for this? How it looks like, and what to expect. So all of these questions are very common. So that's why I prepared a small slide to explain a bit, because there is a lot of I guess miscommunication, and people do not really understand where the real PR and what is crypto PR and what is like PR in general. So if we talk about media, we need to distinguish three media, which is like owned media, which means your own blog, your own social media platforms, your company profile, your company leader's profile, and his LinkedIn. So all of this is like your own media, and you can have 100% control of them. Then there is like earned media. These are those articles you normally read when you open your laptop in the morning, taking a coffee, and then you like, okay, let's check what is in Times, let's check what is in Forbes, yeah, and then you read like very interesting story about Taylor Swift, like changing the world of football player, her current date, and you are like listening to these stories, and this is something that is actually interesting to read because it's a real story and it makes sense to read it. You know, people are having fun, they are receiving interesting information, they are satisfied with what they did. So this earned media is always a very crafted story that you need to pitch to editor or reporter, or they do research and they turn to you. And to why we say earned media, it means that no one is paid for this. It's something that you need to earn. You need to have the story, you need to share the story to the or like proper person, and then if the story is okay, they will publish it. So this is the most crucial part of PR, is to get those earned stories, earned media. And there is always a paid media, which is easy to get. It's, we call it link building, or some of the people like use media buying. So there is always opportunity to pay and get your story into like some of the media outlets. And this is how you probably will promote your brand. But like people don't really trust because it's paid. People, it's not really bringing traction because probably it's somewhere on a 6th page of Google, so you will never like find it in a Google search. And it's, but it helps like to pump your SEO, for example. So it also makes sense, depending of course on your budget and your goals. So I do this slide just to you to understand the difference between different tools you can use to tell your story, to share your messaging during your tokenization. So I hope this will helps you to navigate in the space. And the last comment on crypto PR, which I promised. So people actually think that crypto PR is different from PR, and probably they are right, because right now there is everything is like on crypto PR is pay to play, which means that you need to pay to Cointelegraph or CoinDesk or any other being crypto, name it, media outlet to be published. And this is actually killing their journalism and like real stories. But once again, like now everyone can buy it, everyone can go directly to the media and buy the story, but who is trusting it? So once again, we are coming back to the earned media and how important to be published in the places where people actually read, where people actually trust. That's why, like as a PR company, we do a lot of earned media with mass media rather than just crypto media, because it's more, it's bringing more attention, it's bringing more trust and more kind of brand awareness, which you probably will need to understand during doing your campaign and during your tokenization launch. Yeah, I think I'm actually done for today, because I don't want to spend more minutes that I have in my disposal. But I have lots of interesting facts for you and advice. So please ping me in LinkedIn if you need any help.
Thank you very much for that super detail. I was engaged. I was like, okay, yeah, I like understanding some things that my market team don't tell me, because like it works like that. So I was finally understanding some of the mentality behind. Thanks for that. So, yeah, very diverse expertise. We went from legal to crowdfunding mechanisms to marketing. So thank you very much to all the panelists. We have still 7 minutes, so I would like to drop down with the final question. We understand that the world is definitely evolving. It's becoming more digital. It's becoming more automated, more transparent with technology such as blockchain. So let's make a wish. Why not? For the next as a closure statement, if you guys want, what do you see everything evolving in the next 5 to to 10 years, especially in your fields, and please relate it to how tokenization happens, and then let's see how that works. Who wants to
Five
go
to 10
first?
years? You want projection?
Yeah, I'm looking for that projection then to show all the clients and be like, they said it, not me, kind of like no, but 5 to 10 years, it's short term, or I don't know, maybe some people will sit for long term. I was looking for that. I could say like
Oh,
tomorrow. Then let's make it, yeah, 5 to 10 years is more. Just play with
that's
whatever number you want.
definitely
Don't
like a
worry.
very long-term vision for Web3. I don't know. I mean,
Okay, okay, fine. Nasia, please. How do you see it? 2024.
2024. Oh, I hope 2024 will be exciting. Like we already feel like a little bit kind of movements in the markets. Many of our clients are actually launching this autumn, and we can see that it's not market is not back from crypto winter definitely, but it's kind of like start realizing there is no bull market. We just need to do it. We just need to start like our projects and launching it right now, because we are losing time and we have no like runaway. So we need to do it. So I guess that's one of the things we can like see on the market right now. Projection, I don't really into projections. In my field, I can say that market is changing very fast, and you need to craft your campaigns like in a very short term. I mean, like 3 months, I guess, planning, and then you need to check once again: is it is it uh, actually up to market? Is it what up to trends? And so, do you need to change it? Do you need to pivot? Do you need to update it? So, I guess there is a little bit of short term vision and planning on the market itself, just because it's too vulnerable. But I think for those people who are considering to enter it, it's a good time, because right now there is no pressure. On a bull market, everything is happening like in seconds, in like minutes, and then like there is no way to think. So right now you have time to build, you have time to grow, you have time to consider options, and that makes it a little bit easier for those who are looking for long-term plan. Yeah.
I'm very happy you answered the short term. I even got happy. I was like, yes, you're right. It's actually a good time to start building and bringing momentum, creating that community or that accruement of investment. I mean, it is very true. So, Peter, your perspective for the next year, legality wise, what are we going to see?
Yeah, so first of all, I will be definitely praying for the smart regulators. So yeah, you can have whatever legislation, but with very too conservative regulators, which are not open to innovation, then that's a showstopper. So first prayers. And then I really hope that we will finally start talking about blockchain as a technology. So not just discussing the price of Bitcoin, because, for example, 2 years ago, a European investment bank, probably the most conservative financial institution on the planet, issued 100 million bond on Ethereum. On the other side, there is a self-sovereign identity being built also on blockchain, which is also a future of digital identity. So these are the topics we need to talk about, and I'm sure this all will help the whole blockchain and crypto industry. So let's talk about right topics, not only about the Bitcoin price, and I'm sure we'll get a real push that the industry needs.
I myself as a lawyer, I'm hoping you are absolutely right at that. We need smarter regulators. We need that conversation regarding the pricing to drop, because technology is the one that we are here for, because it gives us a lot of characteristics that if we're not off online or on chain, we don't have access to. So yeah, I'm in for that right as well. And Carlo, crowdfunding. Are we gonna see
Yeah,
more crowdfunding? How are we gonna see it?
yeah. I think that the new European regulation will see an increase of crowdfunding activities, crowdfunding campaigns. and also the community funding approach. So for bigger companies with a community, the possibility to raise money from their community, for their customers, in order to increase the not only the capital inside the company, but also the revenues in the companies. And I think that, as already mentioned before, the law regulations and the tokenization from a regulatory perspective will improve the equity crowdfunding in order to bring it to the top, to the right and real democratization of this kind of asset. And I think that it can be disruptive. Of course, the technology is running faster than the regulatory, but as mentioned by Peter and by you, Edwin, we need more smarter so smarter how do
Yes.
you say, regulators, smarter governments, and so everywhere in Europe, everywhere in the world. There are countries where this kind of regulatory is faster. We know that in Europe bureaucracy is make all the stuff difficult, but I believe in a less bureaucratic world.
Hopefully that happens. So I would like to thank all of you for this amazing, and I would like to invite everybody who's listening. If you have a legal situation in blockchain, Web3, tokenization, Peter Merck, I mean, he has proven work. Crowdfunding mechanism, understanding how to get to that point. If you want to crowdfund, then by all means, Giancarlo Vergini. And if you want to hear that, how to get that captivated storytelling through marketing means and position yourself for that, then Nastia Damones. So thank you very much for all of you. It's been an absolute pleasure. And now, just a closing remark: if any company out there is interested in tokenizing any of their assets, Bricken is a one-stop solution, and we can provide you partners such as the ones that you have heard. So I would like to wish everybody an absolutely great, I don't know, time, night, day, wherever you guys are, but at least have a good day. Thank you very much.